block it.
Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Blood Talk Podcast. How y'all doing today? First and foremost, before we even dive into today's episode 16, I just want to give y'all a little like check, chop it up with y'all real quick. So, if you guys follow me on my Instagram, which is underscore Blunt Talk Podcast, I know you guys saw 2 weeks ago that I said an episode would be out on this Friday, which is the 12th. And unfortunately, life be motherfucking life, okay? So I missed 1 week due to the holiday. I was spending time with family, kids were at daycare. Work was going crazy, so I didn't really have time to record. Then this week came up and my kids were extremely sick, had to do hospital runs and things of that nature. So that definitely prohibited me from not only getting to the bag, making that chicken, but from popping in with my YouTube and my audio family. So I do apologize for being missing, but just know that I'm back. Um, I'm quietly recording. As y'all see, I'm in my room, so we're recording on the quiet side while the kids, sleep in their rooms, hopefully all night and don't bother me. But it wouldn't be right if I didn't chop it up with y'all during my mommy time. Y'all know I love you. I appreciate you. And I'm just so very grateful that y'all are still rocking it with me week after week after week. As you can tell, Blunt Talk Podcast don't ever miss unless life just comes and smacks. So I just want to let you know, besides, well, adulthood is the most ghettoest hood. Parenthood is definitely ghettoer than ghettoer, whatever. Definitely ghettoer than motherfucking adulthood. Like, this is physical representation of me the last 2 weeks, okay? I never understood that picture when I was growing up. I used to sit here and cackle like, why the fuck my mom got this picture up in the house of that tired ass lady? Me, I'm the tired lady now. I get it. I look like that every day when I wake up, right before I go to sleep. Just, truth is, I'm tired. Options are few. That's how I feel, along with this picture. So I just need to show you guys physical representation of Randy the last 2 weeks. But without further ado, let's just jump right into the social media topics. I can't keep telling y'all that I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl trying to make it big. I know y'all don't want to hear it no more. So let's just jump into the topics. So, the first topic that I want to talk about in our juicy social media segment is going to be it's going to be a video of an LGBTQ man expressing why he doesn't find it necessary for his son to be involved in his life. So take a look at this video, and then you already know we're going to come back and we're going to chop it up.
In my comments calling me a self-hating gay, I have a question for you. So what do I do as a parent that's raising a child in a gay household? And if I allowed him to see me kissing and having affection with another man, since y'all feel like that's so important, what do you do when that little boy that has seen you kiss a man in the mouth and hold his hand and do all that cuddle lovey-dovey shit? What do you do when your little boy goes over to somebody else's house and he does it because he thinks that it's okay when it's really not? And now somebody want to harm my baby, or they whooping on him or mistreating him because they're calling him gay. What do you do then? When do y'all don't get it through y'all head that it's just not okay? And it's the time and the place. That doesn't make me a self-hating gay. That does not make me not love myself. This gay shit just ain't that important to the point where my kid has to see it. What about his well-being? Huh? That's my question for y'all that's always in my comments asking me or telling me what I should and shouldn't be doing. Why is this gay shit that important? Huh?
When I first saw this video, well, first of all, I've been seeing this handsome, handsome, handsome gentleman on TikTok pop up on my For You page a lot. And he always was expressing himself and just voicing his opinion about how he feels sometimes the LGBTQ community be moving and how sometimes he doesn't feel it's necessary for kids to be involved in their movement. And so when I first saw him on TikTok, I definitely tuned in because I was like, wow, finally someone who thinks like this out of that community and doesn't get offended when others around them think of that, right? So when I seen this video of him basically like expressing why he doesn't feel the need to showcase his life and the choices that he's making and his lovers with his son is because he doesn't want his son to think that it is correct or that it is right, which is going to lead to him going to somebody else's house and being bullied for trying to make the wrong move or what have you. Now, that statement had the girlies in an uproar, okay? They were pissed. People couldn't understand how someone of the community could think like that. And they were calling him like an ashamed gay man. And I never got the vibe that he was ashamed. What I believe is, and this is just based on us and how we, were raised back in the day, is we don't have to showcase our children everything. Our children doesn't have to subscribe to our lifestyle. We are not our children's friends. We are their parents first and foremost. Y'all don't remember y'all parents having like mysterious little lovers back in the day that you thought was their little friend? Okay, so I'm confused as to why we need to push on to our children so much adult like behaviors. If we're being real, some people say that this spirals into people's need for affection and things of that nature because they didn't see their friends be affectionate. But once upon a time ago, it wasn't really cool to be affectionate like that and kiss like that in front of your kids. That's stuff that you did behind closed doors. So when you're growing up into that area or that era, I'm sorry, it's sort of kind of normal. Like, I don't know. It's like if we're being real back in the day, we didn't really know our parents. Our parents were very much so mysterious. We didn't know anything, especially in regards to our mothers about their life, literally. Like, yeah, we heard the little gossip with our aunties back and forth here and there, but it was never not like they were inserting us in drama. There was a thing back then that says children stay in children's place and don't definitely get involved in adult situations. So in this instance, because this person happens to be gay, who has a son, his child don't have to subscribe to that lifestyle. He don't have to let him know what he do behind closed doors. Like it's literally not children's places to know anything that has to do with adult life. See, when social media came around, it sort of kind of blurred the lines for like friends being friends with your parent. Like it's one thing to be friendly with your parent and have a bond with your parent, but it's another thing to literally label your parent as your friend. And that's where the game got fucked up. Because again, back in the day, we weren't friends with our parents. We barely knew our parents, which caused for people to go to, you know, therapy now and try to unpack those things as children that could possibly lead to trauma. But at the end of the day, that's just how it was. Children stayed in children's place. So I don't find nothing wrong with what he said. I like it's it's crazy because even as a kid, when you watch your parent kiss, whether it's a heterosexual relationship or what have you get type of weird inside watching your parent kiss somebody else, whether that's your dad or somebody else. So I don't know. I don't know why people are in an uproar. I think it's just another case of people just being pissed the fuck off for no reason. And it's crazy. And it's crazy. The only thing I will say is we've seen our fathers bag the bitches and be him of the time or stuff like that. So it's just necessarily this was like a double standard. We don't really know our father's business, but we know he get all the bitches. But when it comes to the mom, like your mom look good, but you don't know how many niggas she get type shit. That's basically what he's trying to do with his kids, and people are just finding it wrong and calling him an ashamed homosexual. There's a difference between being DL and closeted and hiding what you really are and just literally being mindful and making sure that you're not exposing your child to too much. I just feel like also if you're not a parent, you don't really have to discuss how you feel about what a parent is doing with their child, what you may do in the future or what you feel like you may do in the future. I can tell you this right now, it is not going to happen. I used to swear up and down I wasn't going to yell at my kids, pop my kids, discipline my kids like that, take things away that I know they like because I remember how it felt when I was a kid. But now that I'm a mom, I'm taking that shit. You not listening? Give me that tablet that I pay for, little nigga. You don't deserve to have it. What the fuck? You talking back in your baby gibberish? You can go sit in timeout and think about what the hell you trying to say to me because it's not nothing important where you need to be flapping your gums back at me after I tell you something. I'm very much so that parent. You're gonna have some fucking respect. I'm raising my children how I was raised because clearly I'm a lot better than all y'all bitches. Like I don't know what the fuck y'all got going on. So that's one thing that I wanted to talk about. Another thing that I wanted to dive into in regards to the social media topic, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Kita. Kita can be seen on tonight's conversation, which is an app that you download on your phone for $6.99 a month. And there they have all different kinds of podcasts, relationship based things that talk about trauma, things of that nature. She's one of the casts off of tonight's conversation. And she also has her own podcast as well. And then on social media, obviously, she has a social media following where she'll be having some controversial conversations. So, on this controversial conversation, she was basically talking about how everyone must have a little loser. Please bear with me as I play this video for you guys. You guys can see what she's talking about.
Gonna be received well because it's really true, but we don't look inside enough. Like, we don't look all up and through here enough, internally enough, because our external environments be all types of up. Kids be bad. Exes was toxic. All of them. Every one of them that I met. I didn't meet a healthy man, never. All my friends is fake. I got a lot of snakes in my grass. I gotta cut the grass because a lot of snakes in my grass. And it's like, there's no way that a healthy, happy, whole individual would even place themselves in such chaos and disarray. So what about you attracted that bullshit? And more than attract, just entertain. Like, there's no way a healthy individual entertains such. I had to really look back and say, damn, I had a little bit of loser in me. It hurts. If your external is up, it's probably because your internal mirrors that. All my exes was pieces of shit. Well, you might have a tablespoon of turd in your sis. My ex-girl was dirty. House always dirty. Kids always dirty. Was with her for 2 years. You might have a dollop of dust that resides inside of you, sir. All my friends were bums. Like, all my friends. That's why I don't hang out with girls. All of them losers. You might have a little bit of bum in your bloodstream. I'm sorry. I want to hold your hand while I tell you. You wouldn't go to a foreign country, eat there, shop there, buy a house there, dwell there without knowing a little bit of the language. It's a hard pill to swallow to know that you speak a little loser, okay? I'm a little fluent in loser. Oh, shit. Everybody around you was a dumbass. Como se dice dumbass? You speak a little dumbass. Yeah? But it's okay, because if you knew better, you would. Okay. And that's what we're going to do. All right. Yes.
Okay. So on that video, right, she's saying how everyone must have a little loser into them because basically, why would someone who was completely healthy deal with someone who was causing chaos and things of that nature? And it brought me back to the saying, birds of a feather flock together. And it also brought me back to, again, back in the day when our parents used to be very wary about who we hung out with. Um, and just make sure that they knew who we hung out with. For instance, our parents, or I can just speak for mine, my parents didn't want me to hang out with no girls that were fast in the ass because if they were fast in the ass, who knows what type of influence that would bring on to me type shit. Sidebar. We always forget that our environment influences us. Regardless of you being that alpha and that leader, at some point you are going to succumb to your environmental influences. That's why there are such things as societal pressures as well as peer pressure. Okay. So again, that brought me to the whole birds of a feather flock together situation because Miss Keita was saying how there must be a little loser in you if you're attracting so said losers. So if you have females that are saying, all I attract is bums, all I attract is bum ass niggas. Well, then, bitch, you must be a little bummy yourself. That's what she was saying. And when she put it in that context, I agreed. And I'm gonna flip it and I'm gonna do a personal experience. So I tend to have a track record of um of I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank at the word. I'm sorry. I tend to have a track record of entertaining and loving on project people, aka project men. And I'm not talking about from the hood, ghetto. No, 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 no. I'm talking about people who may be emotionally unavailable, emotionally detached, have some trauma built up that they never went through, just typically are not the healthy black male that they should be. So that's going to lead to me saying, based off of what Mosquito said, well, damn, bitch, you must got a lot of project or a little bit of project in you. And so that caused me to do internal reflection. Exactly what Mosquito was saying. Like, you guys don't look internally. You guys are so busy pointing the finger at everybody else that you guys don't see within. And I always say that. So then I was like, hmm, damn, Randy, you're right. You must be a little project. And I must agree. I am a project. I'm not proud of it. I'm not as big of a project as others that I may know, but I do have a little bit of project in me. That's why I tend to attract people that are projects. And me speaking upon myself, my project is I'm still very much so working on my attitude. My attitude is shitty. Um, I'm also working on how I handle certain things, even as a mother. I don't always handle certain things to the best of my ability. So, boom, I'm a project that's attracting projects. There's nothing wrong with that. All it takes is about a little bit of internal review, self reflection. Take a look in the mirror. Do you see the reflection and do you like that reflection? Right. So, I just think that was funny and I wanted to share because I want y'all to do the work and I want y'all to self reflect internally. And I want y'all to think about what you are attracting and what you see that you're attracting that you don't like and see if maybe it's a little bit inside of you. And it's okay if it's a little bit inside of you. Okay. Just do what you will with that information and make sure you're trying to and make sure that you are always evolving to be a better person so that you don't maintain that project the project esque and loserness that might be inside of you. I just wanted to share that. And let me see here. Oh, another thing that I wanted to say, shout out to me writing a script today. I love writing scripts. But another thing that I wanted to say was while we are, or while others are so heavy on pointing the finger, defying the odds, the more and more you become what that is. So, like, for instance, let's say I'm not even gonna say that example. Y'all know what I mean. When you don't want to be something so bad, sometimes you have a tendency to turning into that thing. I.e., when people say you're just like your mom, and that shit is like a trigger for you, 9 times out of 10, when you grow up, you become to be just like that person, and you don't really notice it until you're older, doing that self reflection. Like, "Hmm, am I? I can tell you from personal experience right now. I definitely used to hate when people used to say that I was just like my mom because I didn't think I was just like my mom. But that was also there was a time where I was very angry at my mom because of how I felt like she abandoned me. And now that I'm older, I'd be like, "God, I am just like that lady." And we're moving right along. We are flowing right along. How are you guys liking the topic so far? I think these were pretty interesting videos that I found on social media that I had to come chop it up with. Before I continue and jump into the next social media topic, please, please, please follow me on Instagram _Blunt Talk Podcast to stay up to date with all of our upcoming interviews. That's where you can put through your viewer suggested topics. If you want to be a part of the Bluntly Bite segment, you could also put or DM me your advice that you would like for me to say. um, yeah, I'm always posting announcements and just little gentle reminders on there. So please do not hesitate to follow me. Also, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Share your thoughts on the topics. Do you feel like that man is being a ashamed homosexual? How do you feel what Keita said? Do you have a little bit of loser in you? Do you have a little project in you? Like, what's tea? What's your tea? Because I'm always putting y'all in my tea. Okay. So now that I did that, we are going to be having new merch dropping very, very soon. meaning the old merch is going to be phasing out. So if you would like to cop some of that Blunt Talk podcast drip, please, please, please go follow That's Rare on Instagram, and that's THATS period rare. Follow them on Instagram, and then please go to their website, which is that's rare.com. Search the Blunt Talk collection and cop your merch. We have different variety of colors, sizes, different things that you can purchase. Shirts, shorts, crop tops, hoodies to get you right for the winter time, the fall time, and as well as a backpack to keep your things nice and tidy. Make sure you don't lose anything. So yes, go ahead and get your merch. Don't forget to use the discount code Blunt Talk 24. That's going to save you an additional 20% off. And then stay with your eyes peeled for the new merch. Like I said, old merch phasing out, new merch will be coming in. If you are a super fan, you might as well get all the merch that I got. Period. So for the very, 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 very last video that I want to talk about in regards to the social media, this was a juicy one, very controversial. I really don't know how I'm feeling about it. I'm having mixed reviews about it. It's like I want to be angry, but I'm not as angry as I feel like I should be. So let's go ahead and watch this video. Full disclaimer, y'all, this is a 5-minute video. It's from a podcast. I'm not too sure of the name of it, but Columbus Short was a guest. Go ahead and take a look.
Difference between being with a woman, because Columbus has a beautiful wife. She's Armenian. She's freaking gorgeous, drop dead, and sweet, pure energy as well. And so I just want to know, like, what is the difference between being with Black women and being with?
Put me on
I'm putting you on a serious blast right now, and I know it's going to be crazy. Do you feel like in the media today, there's a lot of demasculating of Black men?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're gonna get there. I'm going.
Okay.
I'm going. Just,
Sorry.
we're jumping my time machine. We're about to.
Okay.
We're about to jump in the DeLorean and gun it to
Okay.
88. Okay?
Okay.
So we just went through 1886. Now we're in 1921 or 1916, where you're seeing these people remove. Then now let's get to the 50s, where the 60s, the 70s, where now crack is brought in. How many Black men in New York, from Oakland to New York and everywhere in between, men were not in the home. So now
What is the difference between
come to the 2000s, and these women are Black women, were raised by single mothers, absentee fathers that are either incarcerated, dead, or just gone.
Talk about it.
That their mama said, you don't need no you don't need no man. You can do it by yourself. So that energy
Woo, this is giving
comes
me
in.
chills.
That energy comes into the home. They're not, what you talking about? Unless you giving me this, doing that. There's no respect of the man, the Black man, in that by Black women. And I'm not, Black women, do not be mad at me.
They're gonna be
Because
mad. Trust
I'm
me.
not talking about all of y'all. I'm saying
They're
but
gonna be
there's
mad.
there's a majority of you guys that was raised without a father,
Now-
so you have no respect for that. So what's the difference?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, let me say this really quick, because I know my fan base and I know these people,
Ooh, I'm gonna get
and they're
in
gonna
trouble.
drag
Come to the.
out of
I'm
you.
down.
And me.
I'm down.
And me.
I've already been dragged.
So I'm gonna
I'm
say
used
this
to it.
though. I'm gonna say this though, because this
Oh,
is what they'll
Lord,
say.
I'm about to get dragged.
No, you're not. But you will. On my platform, I don't know if you see the comments, boy. But let me
about
say
to
this
get
though. I
dragged,
get
dude.
dragged every day. It's okay. Now, what I will say is they're about to tell me I'm trying to be white because my hair is blonde in a minute. So, but I'm going to say this, because this is what the Black woman will say. Don't you blame the man though for being an absent father? They made Black women this way. That's what they're going to say. So I want you to answer
let me talk
that.
about it being a man. I'm going to answer all your questions.
Okay.
So let me talk about being a man. Our men, Black men, find ourselves in being able to provide and being able to protect. When we are denied the ability to provide, we feel less than. When we are denied the ability to protect, do you know what they used to do? They used to make families. We're gonna go deep. I'm down. Take the man and have him being violated in front of the wife, the kids,
By another
and by
man.
another man,
Whew.
and then thrown back into the family. And what is that woman? If you can't protect yourself from them men, how are we
Who's gonna
supposed to trust
protect?
you how to protect us? So that started this.
Woo!
Now let's get to it. What is it about? There's cultural things. You're Persian.
Yeah.
So that Persian side, that Armenian side, that Mexican side, that Asian, Korean, Japanese, that other side is where, culturally those women were not those women were taught to hold down
And be very subservient and submissive to
but
their
but
man.
it's more than subservience. It's don't get it twisted. I know you know how to cuss cuss a man out thoroughly, but as soon as you cussing him, you still making dinner, you still washing his clothes, you still cleaning the house, and you're not doing that with this is my job. That's just what you were trained to do, and I think that kind of training, how you want to ride in a Bugatti, how you want to go on a yacht, but you don't know how to wash your own clothes. You don't know how to vacuum. You don't know how to you don't know how to cook, girl. You don't even know how to cook. So you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's all black women. I'm just saying let's get down to it. Ooh, I'm in trouble.
We are about to be in trouble.
Still making dinner.
Truth is, I'm tired of all of the comparisons with black women to other races. Literally sick of it. However, I'm not going to be too mad because that is just his experience. One thing that I want everyone to understand when people are talking on controversial topics, they literally are only speaking from their experience. So this is his truth. These are the type of females that he ran into, and that's why he ended up where he ended up. What I really would wish is that when someone is depicting a black woman, they wouldn't necessarily use a ratchet voice, i.e., that last clip. I couldn't stand it because we all don't talk like that. I, for one, have people telling me that they wish or they mistaken me for a white girl because I enunciate my words and I don't speak that ratchet mess. But in all essence, time and a place for everything. Very much so can switch it up and switch it on if I need to. So another thing that he literally talked about, it's like that video was all over the place, right? Because he starts it out and he's trying to talk about the history and the evolvement of African American men and African American women. And within that involvement, he's saying how the government played a role, which we know that they did, which stripped the black men from the family, causing more so black women to be independent black women, causing it hard to respect having black men in the house. This is what I will say. This is just personal experience, right? Everybody wants a submissive female, but a lot of times people are not creating a safe space for said female to be submissive. That comes with overtime. Case in point, younger Randy, definitely type of girl that was like, fuck these niggas. You can't tell me what to do. You're not my dad. Definitely lived by the if you ain't fucking clothing or feeding me, you can shut the fuck up. Definitely believed in things like that. So being submissive back in the day for Randy was not in or on my bingo card at all. Older Randy understands how to be soft because I'm a I'm in a space in my womanhood that is allowing me to be soft, right? If I feel safe enough to be soft, I can do things that is submissive. If my man asks me to do something, I'm not going to be like, "Nah, nigga, you can do that yourself." I'm going to be like, "All right, babe, I got you." If I'm doing something at a time, I'll just, "All right, babe, I got you after I'm done doing this and that." But I'm going to make it known that I am listening and I'm going to do it. But that is because I'm in a space where I'm allowed to do that. And also I'm in a space where I want to be that soft female. I don't want to be hard. I don't want to be masculine. I don't want to have to feel like I'm in survival mode with my partner. I want to know that I have his back, he has my back. So if my man tells me to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm also the type of female that if I'm wearing something that my man don't really want me to wear because it's showing a little booty cakes too much, and I'm gonna be in an area where there might be a lot more men. I'm the type of bitch that will listen because I do value what my man says to me. That's not me being a pick me, but that's just me having respect. And that's the thing that he was saying black women lack. Black women lack respect for men that don't deserve respect. Point blank, period. If you are not him or acting like him, making me feel soft, I am not going to respect you, nigga, because now I have to operate out of a space of survival. I'm surviving to love you. Why the fuck am I going to be soft when any second anything could happen? So I feel like at the times of his life when he was potentially loving these said women, they were not able to be as soft with him because of the things that he was not doing for them. As I said before, being submissive doesn't necessarily always have to do with your partner, but it damn sure does have to. It's like 50-50. It has to do with you and your partner. If you're comfortable in yourself and soft within yourself, and your partner is allowing you to be soft because they're bringing you a sense of stability and comfortability and safety, you're going to be soft. But if I'm getting my head knocked around, which we didn't forget, Columbus Short had domestic violence motherfucking cases. He was knocking bitches' heads loose. So for a nigga that's knocking bitches' heads loose, I'm scared. I'm not comfortable. I'm not safe. I'm scared. There's a difference. I'm operating out of love, not only out of survival, but out of being scared now. And I feel like that's where people don't understand. Also, if we're just being completely honest, other races, yes, we're born to be more so men pleasers. I witnessed my stepmother, not my, I witnessed my previous stepmother do things for my dad that he simply did not deserve based off of how he acted, but because that's how the culture was, that's just what was ingrained in her. Sort of kind of goes with the Columbus Short saying, oh, if a black woman's mad at you, she's not gonna cook you dinner, she's not gonna do this, she's not gonna do that. No, I might cook dinner, but I might cook it with an attitude. I'm not gonna be too happy singing all like how I used to. You know what I'm saying? Where I seen situations where someone would be completely disrespected and they would like still operate like out of love, if that makes sense. Like just as a black woman, yes, I'm operating and cooking out of love, but I have an attitude. Like you really disrupted my frequency with that fuck shit. Whereas other people are like, my man just disrespected me, whatever. Let me go cook this dinner and be a slave. I don't know. I don't know. It's like a give and take. Like I see what he's talking about because I operated out of that before, but I also am very much so a strong believer in what the fuck are you doing to make them act like that? The same way y'all niggas be so quick to, if somebody cheat on a girl, what the fuck was she not doing? It's the same thing. If a woman's not being submissive, what the fuck aren't you doing to make her or allow her to feel comfortable with being submissive? Period. That's how I feel about it, and I'm stamping it. If anybody wants to go about it, we can knuckle up. Knuck if you buck, bitch. No, I'm joking. Let me stop. That was just so extra, but y'all know I had to go out in the deep end. Okay, so that's all I got. Did you guys like that? I hope y'all did. I do have a bluntly bite, so bear with me as I pull it up, y'all. This is a long bluntly bite, okay? So think about this bluntly bite as a two-in-one story because yeah, we um we missed some things. I don't know if I read this one already. I don't think I did, but let's get into it. So on this bluntly bite, this is in regards to a woman who was married, of course. All right. Apologies in advance for how long this is. I don't have anyone to speak about these matters, and my blood has literally been boiling. My 25, wait, me, 25-year-old female, and my boyfriend, technically fiance, I guess, 26-year-old male, and I have been dating for roughly 9.5 years. We have our own place and two kids. When I had One I had when I was 20, unplanned, and the second we just recently had after him insisting he wanted a second kid. Through all of this, he vehemently refused against getting marriage. In the long run, this wasn't a huge deal breaker to me. Growing up, I never really wanted to be married anyways. I simply wanted to have the same last name as my children, but he was adamant I was just trying to take all his money. Told him to get a prenup. He said that wasn't a thing. I eventually gave up and fully accepted it was never going to happen. Well, with this latest pregnancy, he randomly changed his mind. As I neared the end, he started talking about just going to courthouse, which I had suggested in the past, but he had shot down. He never asked me to marry him or any of that. Just a few days after our second was born, he woke up and decided that day that we were going to the courthouse for a marriage license. At the time, I was excited, if it a little indifferent, as I had long since settled on the idea of never getting married. As we are going through with the paperwork and planning with this little ceremony we want to have, if any, certain things he's done recently had me doubting if this is a good idea to begin with. First, I was raised in a pretty strict home life. If my interests weren't practically approved by my parents, they weren't allowed. He knew this as we grew up and hated it. Constantly telling me I'm my own person, and if we ever had kids, they'd be allowed to do what makes them happy, not only what we think they should do. Well, now it seems to be the opposite. We were driving the other day and I saw a sign for dance classes. Our oldest loves dancing around the house and is constantly asking us to watch her dance and take videos. It was only a 3-week class, and I suggested it may be a good idea. He looked at me like I was crazy and started with why we would let our kids do something that didn't teach them any real world skills. I found that odd, as I find myself an artist and a writer, things that don't involve the real world skills he's talking about. When I pushed back that Shirley loves dancing, he got kind of annoyed with me. He started saying he didn't want his daughter to be like every other basic bitch who says, "Oh, I did dance." I was severely taken aback by that comment, as he basically calling a bunch of young children bitches, and in my mind insinuating our daughter did dance, she was a basic bitch. I muttered something under my breath that I don't even remember, as I was dumbfounded. He didn't hear me and asked me to repeat myself, but I just brushed him off. This has happened before, as she also loves climbing and doing somersaults around the house, but it's easy for her to get hurt, so I suggested we put her in gymnastics so she could do these things more safely. He shot it down and he shot it down quite in the same manner. Secondly, when we had our first, it was basically solely my decision to keep her. So when we so when she was born, I did it all by myself. Everything. When he decided he wanted a second, he went on and on the whole pregnancy about he couldn't wait to be more hands on, how he'd help make sure I got sleep at night, and how he would help with anything I asked. Maybe I'm just dumb, or maybe he came off so genuine I truly believed him. But our second child is here now. I've done all the waking at night, all the diaper changes, 99.9% of the feedings, bathings, on top of all the housework and cooking and everything important involving our oldest. While in general, I'm very capable of doing all of this, I find myself bitter and angry. Why did you tell me you'll do all this and help and not even try in the slightest? And when I do ask for help with the baby, he gets frustrated so quickly that I just become even more angry. Example, I asked him to hold the baby for 5 minutes while I made myself a sandwich after he ate dinner and decided to lay in bed. The baby gets particularly fussy around 6 or 7 o'clock, and it makes it hard to do anything while holding her. I put her in the bed with him, and not even a minute after leaving the room, I hear him huffing and puffing at her that he doesn't know what she wants and only so many things could be wrong. He frustratedly asked if I had changed her, and I told him I changed her right before giving him to her. But since she wasn't just calmly laying in bed with him while he looked at his phone, he was just annoyed. So I went back in there, took her back. It's not fair for him to get all frustrated with her simply being a baby. I didn't make my sandwich, and 30 minutes later, he asked me if I wanted him to make it for me. At that point, I'm over and told him I'm not hungry anymore. He proceeded to ask why I wasn't, which I replied, "I'm just not." Then he told me to stop being ridiculous. These are examples from just this past weekend. On top of this, all is his inability to clean up after himself, allotting any of his messes to our oldest, and if she won't do them, or I decide it's unnecessary for her to do it, or him deciding that certain tasks that inconvenience others when they come to our home aren't his problem because he doesn't care, implying he should do it himself, is met with the usual, "Well, I work all week." He works 4 days a week, 11 to 8. All their time is spent fishing or sleeping or moping around the house because he is bored. Almost done, y'all. Hang in with me. This is a long one, like I said. Him constantly talking down on literally everyone and everything, his friends, his family, even things I'm interested in, like games and music, he will talk down on. From "it's unnecessary, it's weird, it's stupid, they're stupid pathetic," to even one time telling me I'm a degenerate, like his friends during an argument. If it's not something he agrees with 100% or one of his hobbies, he's extremely hateful or judgmental. He has not always been like this, as it has mainly started over the last year or less. He gets extremely angry over the most minor inconveniences, baby ducks not being easy about getting in their pen, saying he hates how animals don't let him help them. Because why would any baby animal let someone stomping and yelling help them? And gets frustrated with our oldest for normal things her age. I get frustrated with her too, but it's not simply that, it's how angry and rude he gets with her when he's frustrated. For example, she will say dad over and over until he looks at her. He immediately snaps. I've tried telling him she's young. If she sees you staring at your phone and not acknowledging you heard her, she's going to keep saying it until she knows you're listening. That must be a men thing because men really find it like I don't know. It's like remember in English class we were like I don't know, maybe our parents just taught us this, but like speak when you're acknowledged. Like if someone acknowledges you, you just either that's simple, yeah, I heard you, head nod, whatever, but you let them know you acknowledged them. I'm noticing people don't fucking do that, and it drives me nuts because I also think you're like annoying me. Also, I feel like that's pretty rude. If I'm speaking to you, nigga, acknowledge that you hear me. Like people just weren't born the same. Like, again, shout out to Renee and Randy because they did their big one with me. I'm a responsible, independent adult who is not rude, who has manners, a light of life, soft energy, great person. These other people out here is eerie. Anyways, let's resume. I'm an extremely understanding and laid back person. I believe everyone's interests and life decisions are their own, especially outside of their home. So to get visibly angry and let them ruin your mood is completely unnecessary. I believe our children should be able to pursue whatever interests they may please as may they bleh, 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 whatever interests they may please as well as life skills. But life skills shouldn't decide what they are and aren't allowed to enjoy. It takes a lot for me to hate someone or anything. So for him to constantly be so hateful and bitter really puts me off. It makes me worry for how he'll continue to handle our daughters as they get older. As my stepdad controlling my interests based on his personal beliefs drove an extreme wedge between the two of us. Then at the end of the day, after constantly behaving like this, he's constantly in a mood, groping me constantly when I'm cleaning, waking me up, trying to get me in the mood when I already get 4 to 5 hours of sleep on an average night, and just making comments I don't know how to react to. Due to all the above behavior, I'm literally never in the mood anymore. I don't even think about it, but I can't tell him no or I'm not in the mood because then I have to deal with him being in the mood and then the possibility of an argument that I'm too distant and he takes intimacy very seriously. I don't want pity. I don't want pity. I know the easy answer a million people will give is just to leave. I'm just as lost and have found myself so angry over the last day I have to get it off my chest. Other than not helping with important things and being short tempered, he is a good father with our oldest. They go fishing constantly, roughhouse a lot, and she loves it. And I only don't say he is with our youngest as she is in my arms 99% of the time. And he doesn't really interact with her other than holding her for a few minutes to say hi. But he loves them both more than life itself. I simply just can't see myself dealing with his attitude for the rest of our lives anymore. Believe he believe he has become too much of a different person to the point we are two polar opposites and not the type that mix together well. I believe we only don't butt heads because I know no opinion truly matters besides his own. So I just keep my mouth shut after years of us constantly arguing. Y'all, that was a long one. Okay, so I do want to say one thing I'm noticing that us as parents have a tendency to do, especially us as mothers, we have a tendency to literally excuse the fact that they may be a good father to push out all their shitty fucking traits. So, one shitty trait is he's very controlling and he's not understanding that sometimes it's okay to have fun in life. The fact that he doesn't want his children to do any extracurricular activities that doesn't have to pertain with life skills is kind of crazy because they seem pretty young to me. These extracurricular activities can also just help maintain and ensure that their social skills are flourishing. So he's lying. Those do have life skills, social skills, team bonding, team building, things of that nature. If you were in gymnastics or a dancer, you know you have to operate as one band, one sound. Don't know what his problem is. Second of all, I would simply just have a conversation. It might get a little uncomfortable, but what people don't understand is growth literally happens within uncomfortable conversations. If you can't have uncomfortable conversations with your spouse, why the fuck are you with that person? You should be able to talk to your spouse about everything, the good, bad, and the ugly, especially in regards to your relationship. So it's a simple conversation to have with him and say, hey, how you act literally is making my pussy dry. Simple. I feel like that simple conversation could then help. If you don't feel comfortable doing that by yourself, get a mediator or definitely have a therapist to talk to, or simply just leave. Sometimes we have a tendency to just being so okay and settling with who we know because we're comfortable with that person, but we're doing ourselves a disservice. Sometimes it is extremely important to love somebody from a distance. Just because you guys are not compatible anymore, he's not satisfying your needs anymore, does not mean that y'all cannot be great co-parents and have a healthier co-parent relationship than you would have together. I feel like once people start to understand that, us mothers especially would be very happy. Us mothers cling on to having that family, and also, oh, someone's going to say I have a baby daddy or I have two baby daddies. And it just puts us in a box where we're like, "Ah, I just rather stay where I'm comfortable and what I know what I'm getting into." The saying, dance with the devil that you know and not the one that you don't know type shit. So I just want us all as mothers, I have to even tell myself this. If you're really unhappy, if your cup is not being fulfilled or poured into the same way you're pouring into somebody else's cup, sometimes you need to leave. Maybe that person is not your person. Yeah, it fucking sucks because you and this person have procreated life and you're just supposed to make it work. But at the same time, is besides us being mothers and parents, we are all humans. We deserve to be happy as well. And and our children deserve to see us in happy, loving relationships that are healthy and flourishing, where they can literally see that they are happy. If you think about it, some people that stay with their partner, the person that they procreated with, and they are unhappy, their kids grow up to say, hey, maybe our parents should have just like not been together and divorced sooner. Maybe that would have stopped this trauma that we have. So while us moms are trying to save the day and avoid trauma by staying with someone that's actually hurting us, we're sometimes creating more trauma for that. So I want you to sit and internally think to yourself, is this the person that you want to be with? Are you actually happy? And if you're not actually happy, rip that band-aid off and be happy. Everyone deserves happiness in this world. Fuck all that settle shit. Fuck all that comfortability shit. You matter. Everyone matters. It's gonna sound corny, but literally YOLO. You only live once. Why live a life where you're not happy and not fulfilled and not being treated as such? Period. That's all I got for Bluntly Bites. I love y'all. This was a long one, but it was a good one. I appreciate being shared this story. Um, Before I let you go, there's more sad girly music out. My girl Tink dropped her new album. Holla. And you already know I'm still bumping that Sydney Renee. Why do you hate me? Album is fire for all my sad girls out there. I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode 16. It was a long one. It was a good one. What you're going to see moving forward within the next couple weeks is, remember those interviews I told you I did for the Real Creators of Springfield? Those will be coming out, trickling in little by little. So those are going to just be jumping right in. We don't have our social media topics, our bluntly bite segments. We just dive right into the conversation, and it's more so of an open conversation. So be on the lookout for those. Those will be coming out shortly. And I hope you guys enjoy. Have a great weekend. Again, I'm recording this Friday night. So hopefully it's up by Sunday. I hope you guys are enjoying everything. And don't forget to follow me at _Blunt Talk Podcast. We keep the conversation going. I definitely want to know your thoughts. So like, comment, and subscribe. That's it. Randy out. I'll see y'all next week.
Lock it.